told anybody to worship me. Nobody can worship man. All of us believe that we only have one God, and it's only that God we worship, and we will continue to worship that God. But as politicians, we appreciate people who have helped. Is it not? Is it not correct? Ogu people, Ogubolo people, when I came to ask you to support me, you supported me. Is it not correct? Did I worship you? Did I worship you? But I have to appreciate you. Is it not correct? I have to appreciate you. I have to thank you. If you did not support me, I would not have been in the position where I am. So, I never said I would worship you. Did you tell me to worship you? So why does the issue of worship come? What other? From where? Buma, I want to say this clearly. When in life, when you have made a mistake, you say you made a mistake. There's nothing you can do about it. I have made a mistake. I own it up, and I say, God forgive me. And I say, all of you forgive me. But we will correct it at the appropriate time. I'm a human being. I'm bound to make a mistake. My judgment can be wrong. So forgive me for making a wrong judgment. That's life. So nobody should kill himself. Let me say this clearly. Arnold.
Someone should tell Nyesom Wike that he did not make a mistake. Similarly, Fubara, as the governor of Rivers State, it's not a mistake. It was orchestrated to happen. That he, Nyesom Wike, misjudged, he miscalculated, he mistook someone's meekness, humbleness for weakness. That is the problem with Nyesom Wike. He wanted someone he would control. He wanted a puppet. He wanted someone he would control and put in his pocket. Nyesom Wike is no longer the governor, but he wants to control an executive governor with executive power. That is a mistake he made. Nyesom Wike failed to realize that power is transient. Nyesom Wike has not come to the realization that power has left him. That people will remember you because of what you do, the legacy you left behind while in office. The moment you left office, everything about you is gone. The only thing you will be remembered for is what you did. He is no longer the governor of Rivers State. Attention has been shifted away from him, and that is what he has failed to realize. He always wants to be at the center of attraction. Nyesom Wike is craving for attention. That is what he is doing. He hasn't come to the realization that he is no longer the governor. What is the problem between him and similar Fubara? Resource control. He's no longer the governor, but he wants to control the resources of Rivers State. And he's working under a president who is mediating with them and telling them that they should maintain the status quo. He's doing all this because we have a weak system. But someone should let him know that. Similarly, Fubara, his proteges, his student, is outsmarting him in his game. He's playing him in his game. He's beating him hands down in the same game that he played in Rivers State. Similarly, Fubara seems to be a very good student of history. And he understood the 48 laws of power very well. And he's unleashing that knowledge that he has learned from the 48 laws of power upon his master, Nyesom Wike. Similarly, Fubara is the new sheriff in town. Nyesom Wike should understand this and learn to live in the confine of that realization. That is the truth. I will liken this political tussle to one of the 48 laws of power. But before we proceed, please like, share, and comment to increase the algorithm of this video. Please don't forget to subscribe. In words and action, Governor Similaye Fubara has shown that he is a good student of history and power dynamics. He has surprised and outsmarted his enemies and impressed his admirers with the manners he's dealt with the political crisis in his state. So far, the governor has maneuvered deftly through Nyesom Wike's threats, combustive anger, and the subtle intimidation of the presidency. I think we need to pay attention to Fubara's strategy in the context of Nigerian politics of avarice, corruption and application of power to serve selfish interests. Fubara, we recall, was a state accountant general when Wike was governor, and they worked together in managing and spending the resources of the state. During the election campaign, the EFCC suspected that there was some unethical practice in the manner they used these monies, and so the commission moved to arrest Fubara, who went into hiding. He was subsequently declared wanted by the EFCC. But to protect him, Wike made him the PDP governorship candidate and went ahead to give him elected governor. Fubara now has immunity from arrest and prosecution. But Wike, who was Fubara's boss and knows everything about how Rivers funds were managed and mismanaged, has not been questioned by the EFCC. We have seen this played out in many states across the land, including Akwa Ibom State since 1999. In this arrangement, the outgoing governor would dictate how much he will be paid in cash and periodically by his successor as a reward for facilitating his emergence, in addition to other perks and patronages. In return, the governor will take steps to discourage the arrest and prosecution of his predecessor. In addition, the former governor will assume the status of the emperors of the land, but all too often, these agreements don't last. After a few months in office, Fubara repudiated the understanding he had with Wike. Some account claimed that former governor was receiving 2 billion monthly and discontinued the payment. All hell broke loose and they began the crisis that has engulfed the state since October 2023. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu stepped in and invited both men for a peace meeting. The terms of the peace agreement seem to favor Wike more, prompting many to term it as a presidential directive rather than an agreement. Some persons who attended the peace meeting in the villa actually said in interviews that it was only the president who spoke at the meeting, and that he was essentially directing the parties on what to do, after which they all signed the paper without as little as stating their own side. Both Wike and Fubara elected to stay silent until when the governor released a lengthy statement in which he announced that he will abide by the terms of the proclamation because the peace pact is not as bad as it is being portrayed by those who genuinely oppose it, adding that it is certainly not a death sentence. Many persons interpret this to mean that the governor has finally capitulated, having been subtly intimidated by the president at the meeting, and that Wike will soon return to his former status as the emperor of the state. A well-known TV anchor actually told people that the governor is dumb. They are wrong. Unknown to them, Fubara's motive, implicit in his message and evident in some of his action, shows that he is smarter than he is given credit for. He seems to be taking some lessons from the 48 laws of power propounded by Robert Greene, the American author of books on the strategy, power and seduction 25 years ago. Fubara is dealing with this matter with a great deal of political astuteness and clever tactics. He says one thing in public, but is steadily undermining his enemies in secret. He has shown that he's a good student of history and power. Law 3 of the 48 laws of power states, conceal your intentions, keep people off balance, and in the dark by never revealing the purpose behind your action. If they have no clue what you are up to, they cannot prepare a defense. Guide them far enough down the wrong path, envelope them in enough smoke, and by the time they realize your intentions, it will be too late. But pledging to abide by the terms of the peace pact, when in fact he does not mean it, Fubara is leading Wike and the president on the wrong path, keeping them guessing while constantly digging into the trenches and undermining Wike's move. While those in Abuja see this as a political disagreement, the governor and indeed the Ijaw people of Rivers State, whom Fubara is a scion, have turned it into an ethnic war. Their constant threats to bomb crude oil pipelines if the governor is impeached and removed from office should not be ignored. I'm sure that President Tinubu is not taking those threats lightly. Between Wike and crude oil export, I know whom the president will choose. Fubara also seems to be taking the 12th law of power to heart. Use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. One sincere and honest move will cover over dozens of dishonest ones. Open-hearted gesture of honesty and generosity bring down the guard of even the most suspicious people. Once your selective honesty opens a hole in your armor, you can deceive and manipulate them at will. A timely gift, a Trojan horse, will serve the same purpose. Paragraph 12 of the governor's speech succinctly captured this selective act of honesty. His words: "I reaffirm my acceptance of the Presidential Peace Pact proclamation and my commitment to implementing both the spirit and the letter of the declaration without compromising the collective interests of our people and our cherished and shared democratic values." Who determines what the interests of Rivers people are and what are the cherished and shared democratic values? Does the interests of Rivers people entail illegal payment of monies to former governor? Is it part of shared and cherished democratic values for the governor to remain subservient to his predecessor? In other words, only Fubara will determine what constitutes the collective interests of his people and their cherished and shared democratic value. The governor is also drawing on the 21st law, which states that play a soccer to catch a soccer. Seem dumber than your mark. No one seems stupider than the next. The trick then is to make your victim feel smart, and not just smart, but smarter than you. Once convinced of this, they will never suspect that you may have ulterior motive. By constantly calling Wike my oga and pretending to be compliant and respectful, Fubara is playing the fool, a tactic well captured in paragraph 14 of his speech. I have said before, there is no price too much to pay for peace. And with the realization that the worst peace is better than the best war, we will try to make peace with all segments and interest groups without surrendering our freedom or jeopardizing the interest and well-being of the good people of Rivers State, who graciously entrust us with their cherished mandate. It is notable that the governor is constantly referring to the interests of Rivers people, and his condition for keeping to the agreement is that it must not violate the interests of Rivers people. And who defines this interest? It is the governor himself. This is similar to what happens when the United States invade another country to protect its own national interest. Only America defines what its national interest is. Law 33 states that discover each man's thumbscrew. Everyone has a weakness, a gap in the castle wall. That weakness is usually an insecurity, an uncontrollable emotion or need. It can also be a small secret pleasure. Either way, once found, it is a thumbscrew you can turn to your advantage. Nyesom Wike's weakness is his greed and inordinate ambition to control his successor. Fubara realizes this and is misleading the FCT minister into hoping that he will keep to the agreement. While Wike is hoping against hope that the billions will flow again, the governor is winning more and more supporters, including those who hitherto looted him to his side. Sooner than later, Wike's structure will collapse like Lagos buildings. Unfortunately, Wike has flouted Law 34. Be loyal in your own fashion. Act like a king to be treated like one. The way you carry yourself will often determine how you are treated. In the long run, appearing vulgar or common will make people disrespect you. A king respects himself and inspires the same sentiment in others. By acting regally and confident of your powers, you make yourself seem destined to wear a crown. Frankly, Nyesom Wike has disgraced himself before the country by allowing his covetousness and greed to overwhelm him. By acting comically and desperately, he has exposed himself to ridicule and scorn. Now, compare Wike's conduct to that of Senator Godswill Akpabio after he fell out with Governor Udom Emmanuel in 2016. Akpabio simply walked away and later moved to another party in 2018. If Akpabio had not walked away from his successor when their fight started, he would not be Senate President today. What of Umo Uno and his predecessor Udom Emmanuel? Although Udom Emmanuel has succeeded in putting Unos in office as governor, the two men seem to be managing their relationship in a fairly decent manner, and so far, the terms of their agreement have not been breached. Surely, Wike has a lot to learn from others, while we have a lot to learn from Fubara. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this piece. Please ensure you like, subscribe, drop your comment reaction in the comment box. I will see you in the next video. Bye.